Welcome back to Area DMG. I'm your host, Phil Wesley, the Mile High Mouth. And for today's episode of Suki Nihon, we are reviewing episode 16 of season 1 of Gravity Falls, Carpe Diem. Here's what happens in this episode. Mabel invites her friends Candy and Grenda over for a slumber party, and it really bothers Dipper. He's just like, ugh, this is awful. I don't like having to share a room with this. This is bad. And then Seuss finds a hidden room inside of the Mystery Shack that might be kind of familiar to people who've been watching the show, because there's all sorts of little hints in it about who it actually belongs to. Anyways, they see this room, and Grunkle Stan's like, well, I'll make the kids be nice to me to figure out who will get this particular room, because they start, Mabel and Dipper start arguing over this room. There's a part there where Grunkle Stan, when this room is open, goes in there and takes some glasses from there. Now, at some point in the second season, you see him also wearing those particular glasses, but people in the know, or who are caught up on the series, already know whose glasses those really are. Kind of an interesting thing, because you see him you see a little bit more of Grunkle Stan's character as we get closer to the second season and closer to kind of the big reveals in the second season. Like you see him kind of looking at the glasses, just sad. And I like the fact that there's all these little details in here which caused the internet to pretty much go nuts when this episode came out. Because of it, there's a rug inside of the of this room. I'll get back to that in a moment. I do want to say that there is a pretty great little bit before Mabel and Dipper start to argue about, the new room and all that, where Mabel's like, oh no, she's not realizing that her brother needs space, and it was rude of her to throw a slumber party where they share a room, and she needs to consider his feelings a bit more. Also, that's got this little great thing for she's like, well, who wants to get poked by a fun stick? Get ready to be poked by the fun stick. That's a great little visual gag. But yeah, pretty much there's a carpet in here. It's an experiment, and it has if you build up a static charge in this rug, it will swap neurons. In other words, it will swap people's bodies around. Mabel and Dipper accidentally switch bodies, so it's kind of a Freaky Friday kind of thing. And then they decide, well, wait, Dipper's all like, hey, I'm in Mabel's body. I can make Grunkle Stan get mad at Mabel, so he'll give me the room. So he tries to do that, and then Mabel, who's in Dipper's body, tries to do that. There's this fantastic part where Grunkle Stan pulls Dipper aside and is talking to him about, he tells poor Mabel, who's stuck in Dipper's body, he pulls out this book called Where Do Babies Come From? And you don't see much of this conversation. You pretty much see the aftermath of this conversation, where just Mabel, who's in Dipper's body, is just horrified by this. That's pretty funny. But it keeps escalating between the body switching and stuff. Waddles and Seuss trade bodies. So Waddles is inhabiting Seuss's body, and for some bizarre reason ends up getting engaged. And Seuss is in Waddle's body, and McGucket keeps chasing him around there because he's like, oh, talking pig, I'm gonna eat that. And then it just devolves into this whole thing where you've got Grenda and Candy and Waddles and Seuss and Mabel and Dipper and those two annoying cops all switching bodies. Oh, and McGucket, of course. And eventually they figure it out and they fix everything. And Grunkle Stan takes the rug, and at the end of the episode, Mabel and Dipper decide they want to continue sharing that room, because there's a part there where there's a part at the end of this one where they're both tucked in, and Mabel's all like, good night, Dipper, realizing he's not there. Dipper does the same thing, and then they realize, maybe it's time to not do that yet. Maybe they decide, maybe it's better to not be apart yet. It's one of those little things where there's just gradual feels. Which, by the way, that's going to happen quite a bit in the series. Oh my, especially in season 2. The feels. So, yeah. It's a pretty good episode. There's a little bit more backstory that's slowly revealed about the Mystery Shack. And it's a pretty good episode, even if the premise has been done to death with stuff like Freaky Friday and all that. But hey, Disney's pretty much owned that concept. So, why wouldn't they use it? I mean, the whole body switching thing, we see it in so much stuff. And in Gravity Falls, it's got a decent enough twist to it that it's still entertaining. I like the episode. Did you like that episode? Hit those comments below and let me know. Hit that like button if you like this video. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Until the next video comes out, you are now caught up.